Hello, you intentional parent. I'm going to switch right into this.
How to build strong bonds with your teenager based on honesty and trust so they actually want to listen to you.
Thank you so much for coming today. I am so excited. I want to honor you and I just want to ask you, because you've dedicated this hour to learn about how to build strong bonds with your teenager. I'll just ask you to close any browsers that are open, the devices that you've got open, and then just get your note and let's
Dig in.
hands shoot up when I ask who wants their teenager to listen to them. And why do you think that is so? Each one of us as parents would like our young people to listen to them. And this is what the research shows, that parents whose teenagers do not listen to them miss that opportunity to imbue values. It's just a missed opportunity. That's why it's very, very important for us to be able to communicate in a way that they actually want to listen to us. I just want to ask you something. Just DM me there. How do you normally communicate with your young person? Do they always listen? And how does listening to you make you feel? If you can just write a little chat there for me, that would be fantastic. Just tell me how you feel. I can tell you how when my teenager listens to me, I feel valued, right? I feel valued because I think as parents, we've got a lot to give, right? I think we've got a lot to give. So what I would like you to do today is DM me, or I'm on Insta, I'm on Facebook. Just DM me and let me know how you plan to use this strong bond with your teenager after this free training. Oh, that's amazing. We've got one parent that says, I feel successful when my twins listen to me. That is amazing, isn't it? It's fulfilling, isn't it? I can tell you from my own personal experience, it's fulfilling because you want them to listen to you. You know you've got value to give. Now, let's get this out of the way. This webinar is for you if you want your teen to listen to you. You've had enough of being ignored. You've had enough of being dismissed. You've had enough of being discarded. This webinar is for you if you want simple research-based strategies to build strong bonds, because you're just tired of feeling disconnected. You're tired of being disregarded. You're tired of being disrespected. This webinar, again, is for you if you actually want that strong relationship with your teen based on honesty and trust. Sometimes you feel, I've just had enough of the lies. This webinar, on the other hand, is not for you if you're not interested in taking simple steps to success. This is not for you. If you don't want to influence your teenager, this is not for you. If you're not serious about building strong connections, this is not for you. If you've got no intentions of growing as a person, this is just not for you. And now we've got a fast action bonus. Here at Raising Remarkable Teenagers, we love to give. I know most of you have had relationships with us, and we love to give often. The gift is a program called 4 Super Effective Steps to Exterminate Teenage Rudeness. Now, I'm actually just looking around there, and my assistant is saying to me, what about we give another one? There it is. The next free fast action bonus, Unshakable Self-Confidence Builder. And this is a daily routine for parents to gain a super confidence so that you're able to raise a highly effective teenager. In teenagers who they're not only independent, they've moved a little bit higher. They've moved to the level of interdependence. And this unshakable self-confidence, which is going to be a bonus, helps you do that. But what I would like you to do is actually vote. Which one of the two would you like to have? Unshakable self-confidence builder, 4 super effective steps to exterminate teenage rudeness. If you can just write there on the chat, that would be lovely. I'm excited. Oh, what I'm seeing. Oh my goodness, you guys want the super effective more than, oh, I can see some of you are wanting the unshakable self-confidence more. And oh, lovely. Let's do this. Yeah, let's wait until the end and see which one of these wins, right?
So now, guys, you're in, you're not.
You have said yes, and I am so excited because I love me some Oprah. Let's say we are having a friendly competition and Oprah is going to give the first parent to build that strong bond and have their teenager listen to them wins $50,000. So let's see what happens, because I want to introduce you to two parents. And the first parent I want you to meet is Disconnected Debbie. Now, Debbie loves her teens to bits. So Debbie is in this competition. So Debbie starts to have a conversation with her teenagers. But this is what happens. They roll their eyes. They storm off, thumbs and fingers in their ears, slam doors. Debbie tries her very best to build that connection, but she leaves every conversation feeling ignored, discarded, disconnected. The pain for Debbie is just unbearable. She just feels disrespected. Debbie cries in secret. She feels sorry for herself and wonders where she went wrong. After years of making their lunch, spending time with them before bed, taking them to the park, giving them treats. Now, I want you to meet Connected Connie. Connected Connie approaches her teens with ease. And just like that, they are willing and ready to hear her. It's as if Connie has got some magnetic influence power within her. And instead of getting eyes rolled at her, her teens actually want to listen to her and they want to talk to her. And as they speak, as they talk, you can feel that deep honesty, and instead of feeling ignored, discarded, and disrespected, Connie feels confident. Her teens listen to her. So which one of these do you think would win this competition? Just write there on the chat. I think that's a no-brainer. Now, so we've got Debbie there, Disconnected Debbie, and then we've got Connected Connie. And we've got me. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm Angie, and my job is to help the disconnected Debbies of this world transform into becoming the connected Connies. And I am so excited. Most of you are saying they think Connie would win the competition. I think Connie would win the competition too. But let me tell you something. I was not always the connected Connie. I was the disconnected Debbie. Not long ago, I wanted a strong connection with my daughter. I wanted her to listen to me and value me. I wanted to be able to influence her positively. I didn't want her to fall into crime, exploitation, drugs exploitation, sex exploitation, or even have mental health problems, because this is what happens when we haven't got that strong bond with our teenagers. They are vulnerable and they become the plaything, the thing to be exploited in crime, drugs, sex, or all of them. The interesting thing is, I was busy posting Facebook fake, happy face. You know why? Because when you have kids, when you have teenagers, you must post that you look good, you're happy. And I posted Facebook fake, happy face. But in reality, I was suffering in silence. There is my picture of me. It was taken during the day by my partner And this is as a result of sleepless nights. I was disconnected with my daughter, and I knew what was going to happen if I don't keep that bond of connection. I just kept wondering, my God, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? What is happening? And I kept saying to myself, I am a psychologist. I am a researcher. I am an educator. I am a parenting teenagers expert. I have over 20 years of empowering teenagers. I knew what had worked with thousands of families. So why was it not working for me? What was happening to me? And I was going mad. I tell you, my mental health was going down. Yeah. One summer evening, it was about 5:30 when I went and knocked at her bedroom door just to remind her that she needed to be at her club for 6 p.m. What? She screamed from behind the door. Then the door flung open, and before I could say a word, she rolled her eyes and shouted, "You do not tell me what to do." Then the girl brushed past me, almost knocking me over. Guys, that's the day I hit rock bottom. I remember just hating that pain, and I was just feeling something needs to change, and it needs to change fast. I went downstairs, wore my running shoes, and then I began to run. I run, and I run, and I run. And as I run, I wipe my tears. And obviously, I was pretending to wipe the sweat. I didn't want anyone to see me crying, but I was crying and running. And I was asking myself, what have I done to deserve this? Then I came to this river.
That pain was just unbearable. What had I done to deserve this?
And I just looked down, watching my tears drip and drop into the river. What have I done to deserve this? I'm supposed to know better. Why are my parenting efforts dropping down the drain? I shouted. And then a soft voice came, but it was very firm. It said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. I jabbed that water with my fist. I was like, but I love my family. The same voice said to me, why don't you practice your own advice then? Guys, have you ever felt like you've been punched in the gut? That's exactly what that question did to me. And I stood up and I started walking home. And I was thinking about all the research that I have done. I was thinking about all the programs I had done for parents, all the changes I have made in families and teenagers. And I knew I was not practicing any of that. That evening, I went into my office and I sat down. I put together all the strategies that work for parenting teenagers, all of them. And I decided I was going to follow each one of them. And that's the day the Strong Blueprint was born. Let me tell you guys, I went from being disrespected, disregarded in just a few months to having that strong bond, being listened to, having meaningful moments, life-changing connections. This was a game changer for the whole family. And this is what I teach parents now. I wanted fast results, I wanted strategies that work, and I wanted simple to follow. I had had enough. This is the exact blueprint I will teach you today. It doesn't matter how disconnected you and your teenager are. You can restore that strong bond. I have seen it in my life. I have seen it in hundreds and hundreds of families. It doesn't matter how long your teenager has disregarded you, has disrespected you. You can build that strong bond and restore that trust and honesty. Right? It doesn't have to take a lifetime for things to change around. You can build that strong bond quickly using certain effective psychological strategies that I am teaching today. That's why I am so excited that you're here. You can be the next parent that's smiling, celebrating a strong bond with your teenagers. This is not reserved for just a few. It can be yours too. When I present this, it's actually heartfelt, coming from within. It's a foolproof blueprint that does not require a lot of work. It works first. I did it on just 2 hours a week, and that strong bond was built. And this can be a reality for you too. That's my daughter, Renai, and we're just coming from the gym. I'm just going to share something just to show you what it is, how it is to be able to have that connection.
I show you this not to impress you, but to impress upon you that this too can be a reality for you.
I feel like playing it again, but I will just leave it because I want us to carry on. This strong blueprint, as you can see, it's being used by loads of families. Now, let me tell you guys, I was making 3 big mistakes that got me disconnected from my teenager and kept that bond broken. The first mistake I was making is that, if you've got it right, with your kids when they were younger, the bond will be strong in their teenage years. And I went with that assumption. I mean, silly, isn't it? For me, especially in my position as a psychologist, it was silly for me to think that. The thing is, I had taught her right from when she was young, so I thought, I was all set for life, right? I was wrong. This is the thinking that totally ignores a very basic human developmental fact. It ignores that in teenage years, there are changes happening. Everyone knows that in teenage years, we've got biological, psychological, social, and even physical changes happening. Our teenagers want to establish their own identity. Teenagers want to pull away from us. They are craving independence. You know that. I know that. The problem is, we as parents are still talking to them from inside the box. Our teens are outside the box. How can they hear us? They're not here. How can they hear us? See, research is showing us that 40% of teenagers are lonely. 40%. That means between myself and you, one of our teenagers is lonely. And remember what happens to lonely teenagers. I'm vulnerable, ones that are exploited. Our teenagers are not here. They cannot hear us. Remember, they've jumped out of the box. And if they're not here and they can't hear us, that means we can't influence them. And this is what makes them vulnerable to sex exploitation, crime exploitation, drugs exploitation, or all of them, including and also mental health problems. I just went on with the idea that, I raised her all right when she was younger, so she will be all right. It doesn't work like that. The problem is, on the social media and blogs, they just say to us, just communicate, tell them exactly what you want. The problem with that is, you set the rules, you tell them, they don't listen. You yell, they don't listen. You're frustrated, they don't care. So like parents do, we gather ourselves and we come back with a new set of rules. You tell them, they don't listen. So you yell, they don't listen. You're so frustrated, they don't care. So you wake up the next day, like parents do. You have to face the day every day. So you set the rules. And you see what's happening? The cycle goes on and on and on. See, blind obedience may have worked in the past. What we need as parents of teenagers is research-based strategies, because we know teenagers are craving independence. They want to establish their own identity. They want to be able to control their own lives. As parents, we have to stop these things of telling, yelling, deciding for them. The research-based strategies that work for you and that will make you an influential parent are what we call the 3 M's of influence. And I hope you guys have your notes here, and I want you to write the 3 M's of influence, which is modeling, motivating, and mentoring. Now, I want you to lean in a little bit and see this map of consciousness. Lower down, we've got destructive energy. And when you are operating from those destructive energies, you have, and even I have, absolutely no influence. I cannot influence anyone. Our job is to raise ourselves to those creative energies. Remember when I went to knock at my daughter's door at about 5:30 and she was going to her club for 6 o'clock? Why do you suppose that was so? It's because I was actually afraid. So I left it so long. I only went like a last minute. If you look down at this map of consciousness, I was operating from fear. And when you or I are operating from fear, we have absolutely no influence on anyone. It doesn't matter. We cannot influence our teenagers. They will not listen to us. They won't. And that's the level I was operating from. But there's something I know about you guys, that you're here. I can already feel and I know that you are already moving up to that level of high influence. Do you know why? I can feel that you are courageous. Not many parents of teenagers want to study the new strategies. They want to carry on the same old way that doesn't work. But I know you are a courageous person just by being on this webinar. And I'm so proud of you. Give yourself a pat on your back, maybe on your shoulder. I'm so proud of you. Now let's move on to mistake number 2 that I was making that kept me disconnected with my teenager. It's thinking that the parent-teen disconnection does not happen in good families, and the bond only breaks in bad families. Oh no, absolutely not. The teenage years are deep exploration years. The teenagers start to see through their own lenses. They start to question our values. They begin to form their own identity. They are looking at us through the magnifying glass, right? They challenge, they question, they disregard, they dispute, regardless of your family background. This good family badge that we wear is challenged to the core. I've said to you, I've worked with teenagers and parents and families for over 20 years, parents from different backgrounds. And I can tell you today, no family is invincible, no matter your class. I have seen them all. in all sorts of places, including jail. My bond was definitely breaking, even though I considered myself as a good family, as a loving parent. I was faced with these two choices: hanging on to we are a good family, or stepping up to we are a grow family. Because hanging on to the belief that we are a good family and that disconnection doesn't happen in good families, it was only worsening the already broken bond. And it's so strange because I continued to hang on to that badge, even though I had seen many teens of my colleagues who you would consider good families. I had seen them disconnected, hooked to crime, hooked to drugs, hooked to sex, in prisons, suffering with mental health problems. But I continued to hang on to that belief that I'm a good family, so this wouldn't happen to me. But that's when it hit me. Actually, there's no shame in this. There's no shame in this. Only a decision to be made. And that's when I made that decision that that disconnection must end, and it stops today. Because remember when I said to you when I was crying tears in that river, you know, that when I remember that, I can still feel it. At that point, I drew a line and I said, this ends today. Progress and change cannot be achieved unless we acknowledge, accept, and then advance. See, I had to acknowledge these are facts about teenagers. This is what happens in teenage years. There are changes. And then I had to accept it doesn't matter from which family you are from. These things can happen to you. I had to accept that it's actually happening to my family. And only after accepting that it's actually happening to me was I then able to advance. That's when I pulled down that good family badge and I chose to be a grow family. We have to be willing to get rid of that good family badge and become a grow family again. If we come back to this map of consciousness, look at where I was operating. Remember, I said to you, I felt we are from a good family, so this can't happen to us. I was operating from pride. And when you're operating from pride, again, you have absolutely no influence on anyone. But then also I was operating from helplessness, because when you're thinking you're a good family and then these things happen, you feel helpless. You start to question life. And when you're in such energies, you cannot influence anyone. But the good news is, if you are a good family, and I know you guys are a good family, and some of you have been hit with this disconnection from your teenager. I have met thousands of parents who've been hit with this. You can begin today to build that strong bond. I did it. You can too. And there's no shame in this, only a decision to be made to build that strong bond and enjoy healthier, happy family life. So let me talk about the mistake number 3 that I was making. It's just thinking that teenagers' disrespect towards you is a normal phase. I don't know about you, but I know most people say, this is a normal thing. This is normal for teenagers to behave like this. And they say, this is just a phase. Sometimes we believe, just leave them alone. They'll come round. This is what I call the 3 blind mice advice for parents of teens. You know, it's thrown all over the place and we believe it because it's happening to us. We think, yeah, it's okay, it's normal. It's time to send the 3 blind mice packing. Disrespect is not normal. It's not just a phase. This is not a phase that they will go through and stop. If you ignore it, they will not just come round by themselves. If disrespect is normalized and accepted, it robs us as parents the opportunity to support our teenagers to develop the habits of highly effective teenagers. And also, disrespect is harmful. It actually is harmful because it prevents teenagers from growing to that higher level of maturity that we call interdependence. There is Erickson quote. He says, life doesn't make any sense without interdependence. We need each other. And the sooner we learn that, the better for all of us. So we cannot just say disrespect is normal for teenagers. It's not normal. The good thing is that the knowledge and the skills you gain today will help you discourage disrespect, and also it will help you encourage and empower positive responses. Which one of these habits do you think that sometimes you normalize, especially the 3 blind mice? Go on, right there on the chat. Brilliant. I'm loving some of the answers. I want to remind you that teenage years is a very crucial developmental phase. There is a lot of major brain development happening. In fact, what we are finding as researchers and psychologists is that there are major brain development from the ages of 12 to 25. That's the adolescent age. And studies by CDC show intentional and sensitive support is important for us to prevent physical and mental health risks, right? Remember, I spoke to you about preventing our teenagers from being susceptible or from being vulnerable to people who want to use and abuse them. So having healthy, strong bonds leads to a strong sense of self for the teenager, which is the building block for a successful life. So this blind mice advice suggesting that we leave our teenagers alone and they'll come round is just incorrect. I can tell you, leaving our teenagers alone and hoping they'll come round is equivalent to sending them on a roller coaster with absolutely no protective wear. You know what's going to happen. You know. Tackling disrespect will require you as a parent to step from just parenting to actually partnering, to build a strong bond based on honesty and trust, to connect safely, securely, without suffocating them. It will require new ways of speaking, new ways of showing up, a shift. Wouldn't you want to have that kind of a bond with your teenager? What every parent wants is a respectful young person, because respectful young people become independent. They have a healthy self-esteem and well-being, and ultimately interdependence. When we build that strong bond, we provide a safe, secure, and supportive environment to raise respectful young people. And I know you want to have that. I certainly do. And it's always a joy for me to actually watch families transform when I receive these testimonials and they tell me what's happening. Oh my goodness, this is such a joy. And who wouldn't want that? There are different ways to get there. You can do it the DIY Debbie style, who won't take any action, but just hope that things change. Or you can do it the overwhelmed action taker, those who read the blogs, and then the blogs tell you something, you feel good, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try this. And then you try, you get no result, and then you trip, and then you're frustrated. Or you can do it the game-changing way and apply the strong bond blueprint that I'm teaching you today and practical steps and get results fast and change the family. I'm just asking you now, which method is your choice? In fact, more importantly, do you believe that you can build a strong bond with your teenager based on honesty and trust? So your teenager actually wants to listen to you. Do you believe that? Guys, I want you to just type yes or no on the chat if you believe that, right? From everything we've talked about, do you believe that this is a possibility? Brilliant. I am seeing yes. I am seeing yes. And I'm seeing yes. And I can tell you that it's a yes. It's a reality for me. It's been a reality for many other parents. And it can be a reality for you too. You don't have to struggle. I want you to have a look at every face here. By now, you know that I have a blended family. So when I look at these faces, I see my daughter, I see my niece, I see my nephew there, I see my friend's kid. I'll tell you something. Behind every look of this teenager is a need for connection. They don't know that, but we do. We do. And if we don't, our kids become vulnerable to people who are preying on them. Why? Because there is a need for connection. But because we know that, now we know that, it's up to us to start that process. And that's why I'm introducing you to the Strong Bond Blueprint. This is a 3-step process to developing that strong bond. Vertically, we've got knowledge of correct strategies. It takes knowledge of the correct strategies. And then horizontally, we are looking at practicing these strategies. The first step you take, which is what loads of parents have taken with massive results, is when you identify the disconnect. This is the foundation, the root from which you build that strong bond. And this is what happens. When we don't identify the disconnect, we continue to wear that good family badge, right? Remember the good family badge? And when we're wearing that good family badge, we can't grow. We don't grow. We don't make progress. And it's time for us to take off that good family badge and replace it with the strong bond blueprint that actually works. Because when you begin to identify the disconnect, you are able to understand where you are and where your teen is. You understand in deeper ways, right? So you're readying yourself, you're checking your competency, and this is helping you gain credibility. And it also, when you begin to understand yourself as a parent of a teenager, and then you begin to understand where they are at, you begin to get that confidence and then the credibility. And then, in fact, you become a more compassionate parent. So it's this understanding self, and then you move over to understanding your teen. And then this is when we begin to have that meeting. You're aware of what's happening and why. As you become aware of what's happening and why and what works, you make it work. And then you are able to identify as well what doesn't work. And then we bin it. I know you so want to influence your team, so they actually want to listen to you. And it takes courage to grow upwards. Again, I'm so proud of you because I know you're curious, you are ambitious, and you are willing to take the steps that are required to develop and build that strong bond with your teenagers. In fact, even start teaching other friends and parents about this. See? It takes courage to grow. And the tendency for so many people is just to dither or to stay where they've always stayed. One of my favorite mentors and leadership coach, I have a coach, is John Maxwell. And this is a quote I have adapted from him. The more credible you are as a parent, the more confidence, listen to this, guys, the more confidence your teen will have in you, listen to you, and allow you the privilege to influence them. So did you hear that? It's a privilege for you to influence your teenager, but you need to be credible. Remember, you are a leader. In their lives, you are a leader. And for someone to be willing or to give you the privilege to follow you, you must be credible. They must have confidence in you. And that is what happens when you begin to identify the disconnect. You begin to gain credibility. You begin to gain confidence. And that is when your teenager starts to believe in you and give you the opportunity to influence them. I'm just bringing in Fauzia B here. This is a mother of teens from Oxfordshire, right? A lady I have come to know and love. This is what she sent to me. See, Angie, my daughter had become unbearable. No matter what I tried, she was going down the slippery road. I kid you not, I was afraid of her, and I can understand. I know I was afraid of my daughter at some point. I can't tell you the many days I thought, I'm just going to give this kid over to social services. Then she says, you came along, Angie. You helped me pinpoint where we were clashing. Then you supported me through this clear-cut process that I can only say saved our lives. And now her daughter attends sixth form without fail and without much fuss. And Fauzia says she knows that her daughter will do well. But the best wins of all is having her relationship back with her teenager. She says nothing compares with that relief. Let's move over to step 2, which is developing rapport. So after you've identified the disconnect, it's now a time to develop that rapport. After you've identified the disconnect, if you leave it at that, all you will have is good information. And good information does not cut. We've got to have action, not just information, but action. If we don't take the steps, if we don't take the action, we don't grow. We will just be, like clever. I know what to do. And to be honest, I must admit that is where I was at. See, I had all the information. I had the knowledge, but was I putting it into action? No. And that's why things were not working. And this stage, developing rapport, this is where you begin to lay down those pieces, those pieces that build that bond. And that is when you actually begin to see results of this strong bond. Because when parents call me and tell me what's happening, I'm like, yes, we did it again. We stopped another kid from falling prey to gangsters out there, to sex exploiters, and I tell you what, again, let me remind you, if you're sat there thinking this cannot happen to me, none of us is invincible. I have seen even children of very high profile people in prisons, young people. Anyway, let's go back to developing rapport. This is when you begin to practice these 7 P's and you're shifting from parenting to partnering. You begin, there's presence. How do you show up? What do you say? And that's without hovering. And then you have praise that works for your young people. Then you're propping them, you're helping them develop without them leaning on you so that you're disabling them. And then there's partitioning over there where you separate the young person and the behavior. And then there's promotion of independence, promotion of self-improvement. And then there is positivity. That is how you develop rapport. And these are some of the habits that we are going to develop as we, at some later stage, if we work together to develop this. I will give you sometimes the exact things to say. How, for example, praise, especially for our teenagers. There are places and times that they don't like to be praised. Praise is a very important factor in their life. But for example, some of them will not want you to tell them how good they look in front of their friends, And those are the details we will dig into as we get to know and work together. You realize and recognize what works and what connects, and then you shed off what doesn't work. And then you begin to practice what's working. And then you adjust it to suit your young person. That's step 2. I want you to meet Terry. This is a father from Luton, right? He's a father of teens. And this is what he said. When I met Angela, my parenting was up. I'm not going to say this word online, right? But you can possibly guess from just looking at it. See, Terry says, my kids didn't even want to come and visit me after separating with my wife. Angela said it did not matter how far gone my relationship was. And Terry was a bit hesitant to join the program, but he says the program helped me understand the difference that I had with my kids, and it helped me gain belief. I started practicing a different way of speaking and showing up. Listen to Terry. He's actually using some of the words that we use. He started practicing a different way of speaking, a different way of showing up. And then my teens began wanting to come and visit. He was so funny when he told this story, Terry, because he said the door slamming was the first thing to go. And that's when he knew something was working, when the teenagers stopped slamming the door. And he said, today I sit and have a laugh with my teens. They respect me and even listen to me. I don't know how to thank you. Now we are moving to enjoying meaningful connections. And this is level 3 now. This is level 3. This, guys, this, ladies and gentlemen, is when you become that sassy mama, right? That sassy parent. You are confident. You are strong. And you know what you're doing? You know, you've got information. You're carrying yourself with confidence. You're influencing your teenagers in such deep ways. You are actually proud of yourself. But you know that you're grateful. So this kind of sassiness is that, you know, when you wear your crown confidently, you're not trying to brag or be prideful. That's not it. But you've got information that most people don't have. So you carry yourself with confidence. And this is when you're in the flow. I love this stage, you know. I love this. You're practicing something easy. It's like a daily system that keeps strengthening that bond. And we call it the GAAAG. And it starts with gratitude. And then there is actions, you know, an action plan. And then there's asking yourself reflective questions. And then there's taking action. And then there's also asking for help, because we all need support. And then at the end of the day, there's gratitude, reflective gratitude, where you're thankful. You look back in your day at what you have achieved and what you've done, and you're grateful for that. And then also you look back and see what you haven't done correctly or what you haven't done right. And you're like, you know what? I'll try again tomorrow. Because we are human beings. We do make mistakes. We sometimes drop the ball, right? That is the flow. And I'm telling you, you can have many moments like these, right? I want you to meet Genevieve. She's a mother of teens from Slough, and she's an army wife. Genevieve said, I personally just wanted to know everything there was to know about raising teens. I didn't want to take any chances because the father of my kids works away all the time. And I had seen how awfully bad my friends' teenagers had become. I just wanted to know everything. And then she said, these ideas are the real deal. Angela's talking about the real deal, right? I would recommend these tips to everyone. Then she goes on to say, I gained so much confidence as a parent as well as a person. I feel whole. There is nothing as good as having trust and respect from your teenagers. My two are 19 and the other is 15. And we are all at an all-time confidence level. And she says we are an excited family. Ask Genevieve. Guys, if you take one thing from today, I want you to know that you too can have that strong bond with your teenager. It's not reserved for just a few. The big question though is, do you want to apply this blueprint to your own relationship with your teenager and build that strong bond based on honesty and trust? Do you want to do that? Or do you want to carry on in misery, like disconnected Debbie? Or do you actually want to practice only what works with teenagers, like connected Connie? This is just another email I received just before Christmas. And the lady said, I'd gotten to a point I had given up hope. I came across you and found your approach radical from traditional parenting views, very refreshing. I've tried to reach out more to my son and work on our connection, and he's much nicer. Now this is what rocks my world. When there are changes happening and it's time for you to stop crying and hoping that things will change, it's time for you to start building that strong connection. And you can follow this simple blueprint that takes the guesswork out of parenting you. And this can be your first day to start that. You can make this your first day. And I want to invite you to our mentoring program.
You certainly want to see exactly what you'll gain immediate access to.
Now, let me switch right into this because you are invited to join this mentoring membership. And what's in this for you? What you have is 365 days of mentoring, right? This is for you to restore and deepen your relationship with your teenager. In essence, to build that strong bond between you and your teenager, to be able to regain your leadership and influence. And in this membership mentoring program, you have access to a safe, supportive village, a group of intentional parents who are there to grow. And as you can see, we have the disconnect identifier. As soon as you get in, what you have is the disconnect identifier. And as you can see, this is valued at 1,997, but you do not pay that at all. This particular bit gives you data where you are at. It's the ground level surefire system. It prepares a firm foundation on how to build that bond, and it launches you to the next level. You see, as you're aware, I'm an adolescent psychologist and I'm featured all over the world because the ideas we present here, the strategies we share here are research-based. It is what works, what's working in today's age. In a fast-changing society, you want to have leading edge ideas. So you have the disconnect identifier, but you do not pay 1,997. Then you move over to the stage, the second horizon, which is developing rapport. And over here, we have the 7 P's, so powerful. You will learn about presence, about praise, proximity, about partitioning, and the rest of the P's. Again, this system just by itself is worth 1,997, but you do not pay that at all. And then you move over to enjoying meaningful connections. This is the flow system. This is when you come to a point where you are already beginning to have a great connection with your young person. You have magnetized yourself. The relationship is becoming better. The levels are going higher. And now you are in what we call the flow. We maintain this because as living beings, if we don't grow, if we don't go, because everything is in a constant state of movement, we die. So if we don't grow, we are going back. If we are not going forward, we are going back. We are not even stagnating, we are going back. So enjoying meaningful connections, this is what we call the flow system. Again, it's valued at 1,997, but you do not pay that at all. Then here is the sweet place. We have the strong bond sessions support system. As you can see, we meet weekly. It's gonna get weird. As you begin to grow, as you begin to develop, as you begin to open your mind, It's going to get weird. And the people that you've probably been hanging around you will not be able to understand you because you have moved to a whole lot different level. And that's why you need this hybrid service where we meet other intentional parents, other parents who are conscious, other parents who are wanting to build these strong bonds with their teenagers, who have a common goal, parents who can empower you, who can encourage you, who are speaking sort of, let's say, the same language as you are, parents who are propelling you higher, faster and further. And this is amazing, amazing. Again, you're not going to be paying $1,997. Woo! We then have another weekly session, which is a Q&A session. This is where we dig deep, exploring possibilities from around the world. We have parents from all over the world. And each one of these, for each of these situations, we explore possibilities. Again, that is valued at $997, but you don't pay that at all. Now we have community support, or what we call the village. As you have heard, it takes a village to raise a kid. See, you want a safe space to share your growth, to share your magical experience. Because I tell you what, many other parents there will not understand what's happening to you as you grow, as you flourish, as your family flourishes. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself is going to be different, and you need a community, a supportive community that understands that there is growth happening, and with growth happening, there is blooming. So we understand what is happening, and we want to let you know that we are all together saying that this can actually be easy. When everyone else is mourning about what's happening, you're not there with them mourning. No, you're here with us growing. Again, that community support just by itself is valued at $997, but you're not going to be paying that at all. And then these are usually some of my favorite hot seats. This is where you bring your cute, waffy face, you beautiful parent. You sit here with me, and then, in a video call like this, a Zoom call like this, and we talk about a case, a situation, a challenge, a frustration, and we pick it up into pieces, right? And let me tell you why that's important. When you bring in your challenge, and then we are evaluating possibilities and solutions, you, in just doing that, you're helping 1,000 other parents from around the world. Now, this, to be honest, for me, is priceless, but obviously we have to price it, and it's $997. We have parents that just come for this, but you're not going to pay that at all. You will not pay that at all. Now, this bonus just by itself goes for £366 on our website. You can check it out. This unshakable self-confidence is going to change the way you see yourself as a leader. It's going to give you competence, and then it's going to make you confident. It's a spiral of confidence. As you get more confident, you get more competent. As you get more competent, you get more confident, and you're just rising higher and higher, and you are getting this for free. Our second bonus, the 4 super effective steps to exterminate teenage rudeness. This just by itself goes for $599 on our website, right? And you can look it up. You can buy it just by itself, but you're not going to have to pay that here today. And now, remember, I said you're going to get 2 bonuses. This is how generous we are willing to go. When you join this mentoring membership, we throw in these 5 habits of highly effective teenagers. This is one of our trailblazer. when you understand these 5 habits of highly effective teenagers, when your teen understands this, the game changes completely. And you're going to get this for free, absolutely free, when you join in this 1-year membership. All of these Strong Bond Blueprint, the whole blueprint, the disconnect identifier, developing rapport, meaningful connections, and then the strong bond sessions, the community support, the hot seats. Then these 3 bonuses just by themselves are worth the program. And the total value of all this is over £11,000. But you're not going to pay that. No, not you. Because today, this 1-year membership worth over £11,000, I am going to put my hand up and say, I am willing for every intentional parent, whosoever wants to grow, can come in today. Why? Because we are cutting it down to just one payment of $997, or for these 4 monthly payments. So you can join today for $297. This is honestly an out of this world deal. And right away, you can access this 1-year mentoring membership. And what you need to do is go to raisingremarkableteenagers.com/strong. So right now, go to raisingremarkableteenagers.com/strong and let's do this. You know, I always say to parents, our connection with you is not a fly-by-night thing. We are here for the long run. We are growing because remember, in teenage years, it's a long time. Neuroscience, as neuroscientists and as psychologists, we know that teenage years can last from when the kid is 8 to about 25. And it's a very, very crucial stage. And if we can help our young people navigate this stage successfully, our young people are more likely to be successful. And actually, when you get these 5 habits of highly effective teenagers, you will discover how here at Raising Remarkable Teenagers, we don't just stop at our young people, our teenagers being independent. We move over to the highest level of being a human being, which is that level called interdependence. So I'm inviting you to join this 1-year mentoring membership. Now, you've got everything you need. I have explained to you exactly what you need, explained to you what's in the program and all the bonuses. Now it's up to you as an intentional parent to make that decision to join Raising Remarkable Teenagers mentoring membership. And all you have to do is right now go to raisingremarkableteenagers.com/strong. Right now, go to raisingremarkableteenagers.com/strong and let's meet on the inside. If not now, when? I look forward to meeting you on the inside.